Alright, so here is the fourth battle I played with this avatar, and this is against a 9 or 10 star silver, I believe. So what does that mean? It means that this player's had a substantial amount of time on the game. I understand it's not a skill rating. It means he's going to have more veterans, he's going to have more retainers, and his general is going to have more abilities. What does it mean that's good for me? It means that my avatar only costs 300 koku and his cost over 1,000. So that means basically that I'm going to be able to outnumber him by 1 unit depending on how he chooses his units and how I choose my unit. The map is Yamasaki Choke Point. On this map, one thing that a lot of new players do wrong is pick bad positions and get their guys bunched up. And again, line of sight is the name of the game. So from this position right here, you get good line of sight to the other side and anywhere around this archery dojo. And there is an archery dojo, a workshop up here, and a melee sword dojo up there. The archery dojo gives you 20 reload, which is huge in Fall of the Samurai. Losing the archery dojo can be very, very bad. Plus, people can reload on it, so as long as you're within the range of it, your troops can regain their ammo. So a very dangerous building. So how am I moving my troops? Check out my positioning here. I'm going to spread out. I'm not going to bunch my guys up, and I'm going to kind of spread out all over the map. My opponent hasn't brought any cavalry. Most people, for some reason, when they're playing as high rank, or as, I'm going to use the word rank and get people all ticked off. I know it's not rank. I'm just saying high rank because he has more stars than me. So that's my disclaimer. I'm just saying rank because it's easier. I don't want to sit here and talk stars, experience, whatever it is. So rank. His rank is higher than me in stars. So he's opted for all infantry because they want the most shooting power, and they're worried to bring a cavalry unit because then they're worried they're going to get outgunned. But when they don't bring the cavalry, they lose mobility big time. So it makes them prone to camping, which then makes them prone to being picked apart as they give you the opportunity. So here you can see my opponent's wheeled up into a relatively good position. He's going to start the old camp out here, and he's going to move up right behind this archery building, and you can see he's going to position himself quite cleverly here, where he maintains line of sight on these units over here, and I lose line of sight from this position. So again, pretty clever movements there, and you can see that he is within range of this unit. But if you go back here and look at these guys, I kind of think that they do have line of sight, but my guys wouldn't fire. So I start moving them to see if I can get in a position to fire, trying to drive him off of that archery dojo. I don't want him to have that, and sure enough, I get him to back up. I'm going to start moving my Yarikachi out here. I have no idea why these guys don't come with rapid advance either. I find that to be completely goony. They cost 800 koku and don't even come with rapid advance. But oh well. Yarikachi, why did I bring them? Just because they'd be a good flanking force that wouldn't have to be worried about cavalry. And they're strong enough that if they get in a melee fight, it's going to be good. So I did get line of sight here finally on a few of these units like I'd hoped. Not many kills, only 9 kills. This is in medium unit sizes, so it's only 100 for each line infantry instead of 150. You can see here I'm kind of extending this flank because I've forced my opponent to move. He's now in a position where I really won't be able to hit him, and he's moving another Red Bear infantry to start shooting at me, so this is going to be a dangerous situation. I do have a Yari key here, and I have another one. And by the way, my army is pretty much going to be the same each time you see me play. The only difference this time is I have a Yari Kachi instead of 4 shooting infantry because this map has a ton of terrain and can give you great coverage. So right here, I'm firing at this Red Bear infantry. My opponent's losing men, and now he's going to either have to stand and fight and get killed by Yari Kachi, or he's going to have to turn his back, and then I'm going to charge him with the Yari key. And he turns his back, so immediately I'm going to charge him with the Yari key. I'm going to keep running my Yarikachi in that direction. At this point, I can't move my infantry forward over here yet, though, just because my opponent is going to be in a good position to hit me. I do a quick charge, slaughter a bunch of those Red Bears, and I'm going to turn quickly into this other one before they can get too many shots on me. So I'm clicking another attack order, and then my Yarikachi is going to get here before his guys can reform and reload. My Yariki was killed very quickly. At this other time, I should have been putting pressure on this flank too because my opponent's trying to micro here. But I did manage to get my Yarikachi into combat, and I'm going to kill a great many Red Bears. My opponent is going to use these guys who have the superior positioning to start shooting. So I'm going to keep clicking attack orders forward on into his spears, and I'm going to keep clicking forward to try and get into his Red Bears because I'm trying to take away that height advantage that he has to shoot at my men. If I keep moving forward, he'll lose line of sight and be able to kill fewer of my men. So I'm still clicking those attack orders like you can see, and I do get up to this red bear unit. I even get to kill a few of them. But my guys are taking a lot of fire here.
Is running from the battlefield, sir.
So what did that attack do for me? My opponent lost a unit of shooting infantry, and he, or not quite, he almost did. It's right here. It's down to 36. He has a leader avatar, so he's got increased army morale. So he didn't quite lose these guys. So I sacrificed 2 units and haven't taken out one of his yet, so not necessarily a real good trade on my part. So how am I going to make good on this? Well, I don't really know yet. I do outnumber him in the shooting department, and I still maintain the mobility superiority just because I've got this Yariki over here. He left these spear levy a little too close to me too, so I gave them a little bit of a volley, and then I'm just going to pull these guys back. I accidentally let him go forward. Yeah, got some shots on me. Micro mistake right there. Again, watch your lines of fire. I knew that that guy was going to hit me. I was just a little too late to click the attack order. So now my opponent thinks, yeah, you liked running melee infantry up on the side of me, so now I'm going to do it to you, and there's nothing you can do about it, because if you move these guys here, I'm going to move my guys here, and I'm going to get you. And he's captured the archery dojo at this point, so he's going to be feeling pretty good about this. I can keep your cav away from me because I got this unit of infantry to shoot at you. Yeah, so he's feeling real happy about this. And here's the funny thing. Do y'all remember that video that I just made where I dismounted my katana cav and absolutely murdered a bunch of Yari-Ashigaru and bows and all kinds of other stuff? Sometimes people forget that spears are great, and they're great against cavalry, but that's only if someone's foolish enough to run them into your spears. So I'm bringing my general over here, and my opponent is just, I'm sure he's thrilled about this. He's like, look, man, this guy's going to run his general right into me. I am going to run my general right into you, but I'm going to do it after I dismount my horse. So, look, it's funny. It's actually using traditional Patchy here instead of the modern Patchy. That's hilarious. That must be a glitch. So this is pretty cool. Look at Patchy down here killing spear levy. Get him, Patch. Any case, these spear levy are going to get absolutely massacred. Oh, Patchy with the decapitation. That's right. Absolutely brutal. Look at him walking back to his horse. He's like, yeah, I know it. So in any case, that was a very foolish mistake on the part of my opponent. He should have kept that infantry to help guard his infantry from my cavalry, because now he has only one option to guard his infantry from my Yari Cav, which is to use one of his shooting infantry, which means I now outnumber him from the front. So even though my opponent actually got a decent trade with me down here, I wouldn't say it was great, but it was decent, and he captured the archery dojo. Now he's actually at a disadvantage in this battle, and I'm going to really start harassing him. So again, line of sight and terrain is everything. My opponent has positioned himself well. He's got good line of sight, and he's got it from good terrain. So I cannot move into his arcs of fire right now, or else I'm going to be punished, because he's got better reload, and I will lose. So before I can engage his infantry, I have to create a distraction. I either have to bait a first volley onto a unit where it doesn't matter, or I have to get one of his units to turn so that I can get the first volley. If I allow him the first volley, I'm going to lose, because his guys can reload faster, and they're just as accurate. And in fact, I want to say he did have a veteran somewhere right here. This one's got even faster reload. So I have to do one of those things in order to get here. I've got Patchy up on this flank too, because potentially he can turn into a melee cab if I need him to. So here you go. You can see I'm pushing him back, but again, my opponent's got line of sight here, so I have to stop. I was trying to bait him in and get a volley by using my Yari key to draw this unit out of position, but he's covering them with this unit, and I have to be very careful not to cross into their arc of fire. Now, my opponent does have the archery dojo. However, I've got a great opportunity here to take the archery dojo back and kill this unit. He's covering the approach, but I've got more men here, so look, I'm going to position them within the radius of capture, and also within the line of sight so that I can kill that unit up there. So he is going to get an opening volley there, but he doesn't have many men, and I do. So I'm going to start taking the archery dojo and kill this unit. So you can see my guys are going to go in fire will here. There we go. It's not going to take much. My opponent definitely should have run those guys away when he saw this coming in and tried to save them, because they're most definitely going to get killed here. Yep, there they go. They're shattered. So now the archery dojo is going to come back to me, and once again, I used my opponent's earlier trick against him. Now he has no line of sight from the top of the hill, And if he turns, I'm going to be able to hit him from the flank with this unit. So slowly but surely I'm starting to turn this fight against my opponent. I'm going to wait until I get the archery dojo captured, and all the while I'm going to really harass him with this Yariki. Right now I'm kind of thinking about my strategy, but I'm keeping it, you know, look at this terrain here. This is perfect. My Yariki can move all around his army without him being able to get a single shot. So this is why I would say don't just count on infantry to do all your work. Because see this terrain again, I can move around most of this terrain without him being able to get a shot. So even though he feels pretty fortified there, it's just not going to work. And I'm going to start using this to my advantage right now. So look, his unit coming around, and I'm going to quickly duck behind this hill and start moving in this direction here. So see, check that out. I'm going to start using this hill for cover, and now I would be able to pop up right behind his men. And again, if he turns his back, I'm going to shoot him from the front. So my opponent is really in a predicament now, and he's going to have to hope that I make a mistake, because at the moment, I own this battle. So what mistakes could I make? I could bring this Yariki in prematurely, and it gets shot, and then that would be a huge mistake. Or I could make a mistake with my men and come within his line of fire accidentally. You're going to see me making a little bit of an aggressive push here because I see that I have an advantage. His men are repositioning. I've got clear line of sight. Again, always check your line of sight. I checked it before I made this move. I'm going to get a nice volley in here and kill some of his Red Bear infantry. And all the while, I've got my Yarikav now ready to spring up and over this hill. He has to keep this unit facing backwards and now can't face forwards. If he could face forward, he would outnumber me here. But he can't face forward. His Red Bear here still getting pummeled. I do believe that he's going to try and move it. They're doing the Tosa shuffle right now. Do the shuffle. Tosa shuffle. Shuffling right over your dead comrade. That's great. Gotta love that Tosa shuffle, baby. Brutal. Oh wait, what's this? My Yariki. That's right, I charged it because I knew that this was going to be an opportune moment. Sucks to be you, buddy. And so, look, again, I made him move. I took advantage of it. I baited a first volley. I basically killed this unit of Red Bears, and now I'm going to turn my Yariki right into his general. He has a leader general, so his general can't shoot. So even though his units get increased morale, now I'm just going to totally thrash him. You can see bullets just coming in from everywhere. So I kind of hit my opponent all at once and just nailed him. So like I said, all I had to do was bait that one volley, and that's it. Game over. So my opponent didn't really have a way to win that. Kudos to him for not just conceding defeat there and actually trying to fight and doing his best to the end. I really appreciate that. I think that's good sportsmanship. That is one of the difficulties of playing as a higher star player against a lower star player in these battles. Let's go take a look at the results. Alright, good game to my opponent there. Wait, let's you can see the overall statistics there. There's really not even that many enemies killed because this is small funds. So remember, all this advice, some of it is applicable even up into large funds, but most of my strategy here is small funds based. But some of the little tactics that I'm using will work at any funds level. Just keep in mind though that as you move into medium and then large funds, your enemy is going to be able to employ a lot larger variety of troops and more of them, so their tactics are going to be much more varied. So it'll get more interesting when we get there, but this is definitely, I think, a good example of some low funds tactics and a demonstration of some of the basic mechanics of the game. That line of sight mechanic. Again, use that space bar button like you've seen me push sometimes where it shows my arc of fire and where my men are moving, and use that to judge and keep yourself just outside the arc of fire of your opponent. Think about positioning, think about terrain advantages, and look for those lines of sight. Let's go look at the last battle that I had. I say that, let's take a look at the unit statistics. Red Bear Infantry got the most. My Yariki both did a little bit of damage. It didn't take much there, just 'cause my opponent didn't have many troops. Alright, I am now playing against, I'm not even going to try and say that name. He was another, I think this guy was a 9-star silver, so, and in Follow the Samurai, I'm only a bronze 10-star with my other avatar, and just barely. I mean, I only played enough battles to kind of get myself up to the bronze 10-star, and to be honest, Follow Samurai wasn't my cup of tea. However, I've been trying to learn by watching other players' videos and getting some tips and tricks. So hopefully I'm learning as I go. I'm certain that I'm going to take a number of thrashings on my way to get this avatar built up, and I will try and do my best to teach you all throughout the way. So this map is a very interesting one. It's actually kind of a fun map. Let me see if I can zoom up here. So I'm going to go ahead and just put it in slow-mo. So on this map, I was really disappointed because my opponent gets to start right next to the shrine. And he's already got a leader general that's mixed with, or no, just a leader general, straight leader general. Bonsai. He doesn't have naval strike, though, because I think you have to have all 10 open for that. So it's a straight leader gen, and he gets to start right by the morale shrine, which means he's already got extra morale. Or no, he doesn't yet. He hasn't opened up increased army morale. Well, okay, whatever. But he's got a leadership general, I would have thought. No, this is a Bushido gen. My bad. That is not a leader gen. That's a Bushido gen. Looks like it, at least. Yeah, because he's got Bonsai and Second Wind, some other stuff. So yeah, that's the Bushido general. That's going to be... Yeah, that's why he has more men there as well. So if you don't have a Bushido gen, you have less men, so that your gun won't be too devastating. He's brought a couple of black bears. Let's see, black bear, red bear. 2 black bears and a red bear, and then he's brought a Yarikachi. Not sure why he brought the Yarikachi. Again, just bring a Yari-Cav. It's going to give you a way faster response to cavalry. So, I mean, again, my opponents, both of my higher ranked opponents, again, big disclaimer, I know I'm saying rank to mean stars. I know it doesn't represent true skill. I'm saying rank. There's a difference between true skill and rank. So when I say rank, know that it means rank, not tracking true skill. So my higher ranked opponents have all brought like all foot infantry here because they're afraid to spend their money on cavalry. And I am going to show you how you can make someone pay for making that decision. My opponent has access to a couple of things here that's going to be very good. He gets to start right next to the shrine, and he also gets to get into this woods before I can get there, which means that his guys can fire all the way up this hill while maintaining cover in the woods. He can also cover the farmhouse. So he gets to start in an excellent position. I think it's definitely an advantage to start on this side of the map in certain scenarios. Obviously, the key building this time here was a shrine. It's not a shrine every time. And obviously there's strengths to this side of the map too if you start on it. So look at the terrain here. Let's take a look at our lines of sight. So anywhere from somewhere around in here, you get a line of sight into those woods. From where my troops are here, you can see there's still a little bit of a ridge line between them and the enemy troops. And then from out here, you can see that there's some small ridges that would protect me from enemy fire from the woods. Once you get to about this point, you've crested it and they have a line of sight. There is another small ridge right here that my opponent would want to be aware of, as that could block some shots. So as I approach from this, I'm relatively safe. This guy right here, though, is going to be out in the open. Alright, let's go back into play and let's see what I'm doing. I bring one Yari key way out here to the flank. I want to keep my opponent's attention focused right here on this Yari key, and then I'm going to use this Yari key to capture the workshop. However, I kind of like keep going back and forth about whether or not I want to waste time capturing the workshop. So I kind of bungle it up a little bit over here by wasting a lot of time with this Yari key, and then in the end I don't even end up capturing the workshop. What do I do in the meantime? I move up in such a position as that I can keep my opponent pinned down in these woods. He can't effectively retreat because he's got no cavalry, but here I make a big time blunder. Forgot about this unit being in that position, and now I've got to retreat after taking 21 losses to his red bear infantry. That was just stupid. So I've turned out here and given my opponent a black bear. And you can see that black bear has 4550 stats as opposed to my 3540. So this unit is considerably better. Black bears for vanilla units are very good. Red bears have a little bit better melee stats, but you rarely get into too many melees in this game, at least not infantry to infantry. Sorry, let me say that again. At least not line infantry to line infantry. So my opponent is scooching up a little bit, trying to get better positions. I had to back off here because I made that big blunder, but now I'm trying to figure out a way to make up for that blunder. So I'm going to get my opponent's Yarikachi out here. He's definitely, very concerned about me being here. I'm a long ways off. I'm not really sure why he is doing this. Pulling your only spear support very far away from your units who need the spear support is foolish to say the least, in my opinion, strategically speaking. Look at his general here too. His general is very exposed. I could have come charging down. My opponent does have this unit here to help protect his general, and the interesting position of this unit is you can see that they have cover from that line of sight area I showed you unless they move up, but they really don't have a very good line of sight from the woods. This is about the only spot where you start to get a little line of sight. I'm going to move my other Yari key in and keep them right behind this little ridge line here so my opponent can't shoot me. And I'm just going to keep his attention held up here. My Yariki was winded, and so I left it up here for just a minute to let it rest. And my opponent does have this Bushido gen, and it's pretty strong, but he does not want to let it get involved with my my Yariki. He's given me way too many shots at it, I think, already. We'll see how he does going forward. I've also got Patchy out here. Patchy's nothing too threatening from a melee standpoint, but a charge from Patchy's unit into a line unit, if he doesn't get shot, will actually be considerably devastating. I love how it's using the classic Patchy avatar, too. He transcends all times and realms. So I'm out here again harassing his Yarikachi, and look at these guys, you know, moving around and stuff. So I'm testing my opponent here really to see what's going to happen, and here you can see that I do click an attack order because his guys were reforming. So I'm going to go ahead and start the attack here. His guys hide though, which is going to interrupt my attack order. Here he leaves his general wide open, and bam, going for the charge. And I immediately kill 6 of those guys, and then I'm going to immediately run away because, again, the low morale on my guys is going to be very bad. His guys have high morale, mine are going to have low. And then look, his Yarikachi are busy chasing me, so they can't do their job in defending these units. So I can definitely see my next target of opportunity is right here. His guys fired at me, I fired back. I'm going to take more losses than him because I'm out in the open, but he repositioned. So look, right into the back of these guys while clicking an attack order at the same time with my red bears out here. So now I'm going to win that fight, and I'm going to cause one more disruption. So I'm going to run into the back of these guys. I'm going to really make this Yarikachi worth it. And then watch, now while these guys are still out of formation and getting fired at, here comes another Yariki running in from across that hill, so I will take no shots from this red bear whatsoever. Well, yeah, I did. I took a few. And I plowed right into that red bear. And then again, going to beeline from there into this other red bear. And all the while, I'm clicking attack orders. You can see me moving forward. So now I've got my opponent outflanked and surrounded. And here comes Patchy. Again, baited a volley out of this red bear so that they can't shoot him. And here comes Patchy in to start murdering some of these guys. Not going to leave him in melee. I'm going to run right back out of that. If my opponent turns to shoot my general, he's going to continue to be shot by my red bears. And so right there, it took a few losses, but the effect was devastating. This unit gets shattered. So don't be afraid to throw your general in there, but do be careful because losing your general, especially at a low rank like this, can be bad. So I had some of you ask me, Eric, how do you kite effectively? So like if you have missile units and your opponent is melee rushing you, how do you kite effectively? I saw someone leave a comment that was correct. So watch here because I'm going to actually kite effectively. I start off by running these 2 units away from his Yarikachi because I'm not sure which one he's tuned in on. I think it's this one. And you're going to see already I clicked an attack order with this one. So I'm running with these 2, shooting with this one. So my opponent is going to be chasing me while he's getting shot from the side. And then I'm going to show you a little further all the plans that I have here. Look at these guys. Haven't taken a single loss yet, and they've racked up 41 kills. Just because of that disruption. It's all about disruption. Bait the first volley, time your attack orders or your line of fire, or whatever it is. It's all about timing and get your opponent to make that mistake. Get them. All you got to do is just catch them out of position for a second, and you've got it. Now, of course, keep in mind they're going to try and do it to you too. So I realized my opponent was chasing this unit. So now I've clicked attack orders with these 2 units, and I'm shooting. I'm running with this unit and attack orders with these units. So now my opponent's going to change his target again and start chasing this one. So now I'm going to run with this unit and start clicking attack orders with these units. So that is how you kite effectively. Whenever your opponent loses his cavalry, this is how you do it. You run with one unit, shoot with others. Do not run with your whole army. Sometimes you can also sacrifice units. Like if I had a spear levy, I could run a spear levy up here right now just to hold this one down while I shoot it. So, kind of a bait and switch thing there. My opponent's only got 35 black bears left here. He's basically utterly screwed. His avatar is a fairly powerful unit, but because of my charge earlier, it's knocked all the way down to 7 men. And because these Yarikachi don't have rapid advance, they really are quite slow. They really should have come with rapid advance. Doesn't make sense to me at all. I think you can add it to them. So in any case, here I am running, and then again I've got the attack orders. So my guys are in defensive, and they've got an attack order click, so as they reload, they'll continue to reposition and fire. And I'll be able to continue to cause casualties and not allow him to get into a sustained melee where he kills me. Here now all I got to do is just reposition and kill this red bear. Pretty easy task. His general really can't do anything. If he goes into melee, he's dead. He's got to just stay and hide, basically. So look at me continually running this thing while clicking command orders with the other ones, and sure enough, I'm going to be getting kills on this guy while he runs. Plus, they get tired.
Your victory is close, sir.
So I shot out his red bears. His avatar is going to rout just from army losses. My opponent admits defeat, and that was my 5th victory. And the last battle that I'm going to show you for tonight, let's go take a look at these statistics, and I'll kind of conclude my thoughts. So, basic game mechanics, I'm going to reiterate it again. I know I've already said it, and hopefully it's not annoying. And hopefully you all enjoyed these too. I tried to get you some good views and make some fun of it, and all that kind of stuff. So, basic mechanics: line of sight, firing at will, clicking attack orders. You need to know when to use those. So fire at will is great when your guys are standing there and you're ready to shoot. Attack orders are better when you need to make sure your guys are going to fire a volley. What do you have to be careful with an attack order? Sometimes your guys will run too far forward because of the weird line of sight. So when you're clicking an attack order, be sure that you're not walking your guys into a spot where they don't need to be. So be prepared to click the halt button, or like I think it's escape on the keyboard or something. I don't quote, no, it's not escape. I don't remember what it is. There's a halt, a backspace I think is the halt button. So yeah, there's different ways you can do it. Anyway, you can see the victory there. Only 253 kills had to be made. My Red Bear infantry did most of the work, and my Yari key, again, just disruption. Just pure disruption. All it takes, again, is one volley to turn the tide of the whole game. Not every match is that the case, though, but in low funds, one volley can turn the tide of the game. Now, of course, all this depends on the skill level of the player and the skill level of your opponent. So I'm not saying that this kind of stuff will give you a guaranteed victory, but if you're vigilant and you use the right tactics, you can definitely win. And so I actually think that a leader or command avatar in the lower ranked games, or I say that the 5,000 Koku games, I think a leader avatar is terrible. A gun avatar would be very good because the other player would have no way to answer the range of your general. A Bushido avatar could be good depending on which map and how well you use it. Plus the Bushido avatar could allow your cavalry to cavalry capture buildings. Leader, again, though, I think is relatively worthless in low funds. However, as we move into medium funds and the other games, I'll kind of show you how things pan out, because you might be saying, Air, you're sitting here saying leader's worthless, but that's what you're choosing. It is what I'm choosing, but I think it puts you at a disadvantage in the lower funds games. Like, if I knew I was going to play a bunch of lower funds games, I'd pick the gun general. But you're never going to know that because it's matchmaking, and you just never know what you're going to get next. Good game to all my opponents. I hope you enjoyed these. HeirofCarthage signing off for now. I will be back with more videos soon.